Sorry? Supplementary number 2 agenda, page 563. Would someone like to move and second this? I'm happy to move it. Yeah. And Vicky second. So do we have any questions about it? Yanni and then Glenn. Have we got someone here to answer the questions? Okay, tell them to run. Yeah. I mean, not run. No, tell them to walk quickly and carefully.
I think also Carolyn Ingalls. I think Carolyn Ingalls as well. Okay.
No.
Well, I had a conversation with Carolyn Gallagher about it. She said it was Carolyn Ingalls, but anyway.
Right. Okay. Yanni and then Glenn, or are these questions that have to wait until we've got someone here?
In terms of, I don't know, maybe senior management can answer it, but 4.1, the 100 hours of time, what is that replacing on our existing work program? So what work's not going to happen because of that?
Sorry?
Like we're being asked to commit 100 hours of staff time. So I'm just interested in what the flow-on effect is for what drops off. We've been told in the past.
We'll have to wait till someone's able to respond to that. What was your question, Glenn?
Well, we may be able to answer it ourselves. It was in relation to 2.7 in the bold letters, where it says there's no longer any intention to seek approval of this proposal as an exemplar. So in the Housing Accord, the Crown commits to 2 exemplar projects. We commit to 2. There's 2 in the private sector. So my question is, where does this leave that commitment as expressed in the Accord? Is this a watered down version, basically? So
it is a changed version.
Yeah, it is. Yeah,
definitely. So we'll wait till
yep.
someone's here. I just wondered whether Mike T's supposed to be advising on that, eh? Right. Okay. Jimmy, what's your question?
My question is because this bill, we particularly in here staff recommendation, we promote and also support this bill. Just want to know how do we know for instance, in the some surrounding affected area or maybe the community board, whether their point of view.
It will go out for public submission. I mean, it's a bill. It's a bill. It'll go to a select committee. They'll call for submissions. I imagine that we could get an undertaking that they would come down here to hear the submissions. So there'll be nothing hidden, nothing. I mean, that's why I kind of want to get on with this. It's a little disappointing around the exemplar, but at the end of the day, it just gets the ball rolling to get the bill into Parliament. There will be some adjustments to it. This is a very recent bill, and quite frankly, if we don't get the ball rolling, which is my point, then we're not going to be able to see it referred to a select committee, introduced into Parliament and referred to a select committee, and we'll be waiting till next bloody year. Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to say that word, but my view is that we've just got to, get on with it. But anyway, Paul, what's your question?
That's not a question. I think it answered Yanni's question is actually in 4.2. The cost of promoting the draft bill will be accommodated within the 2015-2016 Strategy and Planning Work Programme.
We've had this debate before, and we've been told that there's no capacity. So we've got resolutions outstanding from a year ago that we've got no financial resource.
Mike, perhaps you could help us out. So Yanni's question is that the 100 hours of staff time that will be devoted to this, where is it coming from? What are we going to miss out on the strategy and planning program that won't be able to be done because you're tied up doing this? 565.
Particularly in respect of this bill, actually most of the work from here on in would largely be done by Robert because we're now moving, and he's such, So because in many respects, John has done a lot of the negotiations.
Well, if it's 100 hours, that's only a week's work for Robert.
He can probably do it between here and Hereford Street.
In the run back.
So, in all seriousness, I mean, we are moving. We've a lot of that work has been done, and that work will presumably, from an urban design and planning point of view, pick up again once the bill's passed and development starts to flow. But we really are now moving into the legal process. So, it is really now moving more and more into that process around preparing. Well, notifying the bill. Preparing it's been prepared.
All right. So, so. No, he just said that Robert's going to be doing. Robert doesn't work for strategy and finance. He works in legal, unless you've moved.
We wouldn't want him. Oh, we do.
Excuse me. What have you got against lawyers?
Oh, where shall I start?
I'm on your side.
It's entirely mutual.
You don't want to be with planners or strategisers. Yeah, no, we don't. Lawyers don't like people that plan. Glenn.
Yeah, thank you. I did ask a question before, didn't get it quite right, but it's more about the bold part, page 565 at the top. Over the exemplars project, I referred to the accord. That's not right, not for this part of the question. It's about the LERP, where the Crown's required to have 2 projects, us 2, private sector 2. So this is saying that no longer any intention to seek approval of this as part of the LERP. So what will happen instead? The Crown is falling back from a commitment here. They seek another project.
Well, I think we've had. I mean, I can't speak for what the Crown might do, but I mean, obviously, we had this discussion. I think probably around December last year about what was technically meant by an exemplar. I think Council accepted at that stage that this was a process moving forward. So I suppose we're focusing on trying to make this one happen. There are obviously the LERP is up for review, and the future of the LERP is up for review. How that might translate into future exemplars, from the government's point of view, I don't know. We're continuing to talk with Housing New Zealand around Shirley as a major opportunity, so that's where we've got some current dialogue with them.
Okay, so that review, if I could just ask, follow up there, in terms of the accord though, it talks about aspirational targets over affordability. It talks about a 10% reduction in the number of households at the 40th percentile of household income, paying more than 30% of household income on housing, and then B, an increase in the proportion of new build consents with a value of less than 250,000. So the 30% proposed in this development at being 450,000, and that's defined here as affordability. So, pardon? Includes the land. Yeah. Well, that's. I mean, is that affordable? Have you got a?
Well, it's how the affordability has been defined.
Sorry, that's where the government subsidy kicks in, doesn't it? I mean, it ends.
Yeah, that's
the threshold above which you don't go. So
they won't fund. Yeah.
So did everyone else get their questions answered? Yep. All right. Is there any discussion? Yanni.
I won't support this. I think we've heard that there's been an oversupply of land now rezoned for housing purposes, and I think, consistent with my previous voting resolution on this, I think that this land should remain as a reserve or for the special purpose that it currently is. I think it's huge traffic effects, and this is a very intensive development. So I won't be supporting this today, and I think it's really important we try and retain open green space in our city. We've got plenty of other land that's suitable for development that's been rezoned that can cater for development, and I think there will be some major infrastructure issues associated with this as well. So from my point of view, this isn't a priority. It's no longer an exemplar project, and I won't support the bill.
Vicky and then Glenn.
Just to say, I will support it. I was going to say I was going to support it with gritted teeth, but I feel happy with the answers provided. So, happy to support.
Great. Vicky.
I do support it. There is going to be good amenity value. There are good things nearby. It's not out in the remote from any services. When the racecourse was established, it was fairly remote. Obviously, the city has come racing out to it, and it no longer is remote. I think the important thing here is that some of the local residents definitely want to be heard, and I think that's great. They will get that opportunity to be heard. They have issues about reserves being created within it, and that's fine. But to say that we have now an oversupply of housing in Christchurch at the affordable level is just wrong. We may well have some sufficient land zoned. The really important thing is that there are houses on the land, because it's really hard to live on a bare section. And the key thing is the supply of housing. And if 30% of these are going to be in the category that allow people to cash up KiwiSaver, adopt the Home Start loan and the Welcome Home package, fantastic. So getting housing, good housing that's affordable, that is near great amenity, is really important. So we have actually supported this all along the way, and this has been a council, a bill that has been supported by the council from the beginning. I'm totally in support of it still. I'm happy that it goes ahead and that we get on and do it.
Very good. Jimmy?
I support this one because I concern the two issues. The first one, a moment regarding the housing, especially the affordable housing demand and supply. We still show for the affordable housing, so this can comply with our outcome, etc. Second, I'm concerned is affecting the area. The particular concern, if we have a new subdivision, they might consider the traffic flow issue, a pedestrian crossing issue. But we have the channel, because based on this bill, they are eligible to make the submission or deputation during the process of the bill. So I think there's a proper channel, so I support.
I'm just going to make the point that this is a proposal to have a bill introduced, and this will be referred to a select committee. Obviously, the select committee will hear submissions, and anyone who is impacted by that decision will be able to make submissions on it. I agree entirely with the Deputy Mayor. We have to. I agree with Vicky that that it is absolutely. It was about bangs for your buck, really, isn't it? But the truth is that we've got to have more of these housing options that do allow people to access all of the range of supports that are available to get people into their first home, and 30% of these houses will be in that category, and I think that is a good thing. It is in a very good area. It does mean that you get a very good connectivity in terms of public transport, in terms of access to a hub. You've got all of the reasons why this is a good result. And I think, as Vicky said earlier on, there was a long time ago, well before I was born, when Riccarton Racecourse was a long way out of town. I think that we have reached out to the racecourse, and it is very much a part of our city. So I'll put the motion. All those in favour say aye. Those opposed say no. That's carried, and we'll record Councillor Johansson opposed. So, what I might do, because it seems clear to me that we're getting close to lunchtime, and so I think it's best that we leave the representation review to after lunch. But I'm just wondering, and I know that it's sort of kind of against what we arranged, but if Chrissy Williams, would you like to come and do the Natural Environment Recovery Program, and we'll deal with that, then we'll deal with the representation review after lunch, and then we'll come back to the then we'll go into public excluded for the rest of the meeting.
Wasn't there an item?
Oh, sorry, page 315, and it's clause 13.
Hamilton should be here as well, though, Madam Mayor.